Hey guys, I want to talk about a very special kind of failure today. It's the one that hurts the most and the one that most traders don't really have a name for. It's the one where you did the work, you sat down, you analyzed the market, you identified the setup, you knew what to do, the plan was created, the entry was defined, the stop was defined, the target was defined, and the moment came, you didn't do it. You either exited early, maybe slightly wrong, you hesitated, or you entered late, or you moved your stop, you half sized it, or maybe you half sized it from what you should have. You held the loss, you cut the winner. And once everything was said and done, you looked at the chart and you knew it. You knew exactly where it's going to go, you knew exactly what was going to happen. The chart wasn't the problem, your drawing wasn't the problem, you were the problem. It's the one where you did perfect analysis, you had a perfect entry, perfect exit, perfect stop loss, everything is perfect, but you didn't execute. And this is the one that I like to call the execution gap. And this is the one where it actually defines and separates who you are on a paper as a trader and who you are as a trader. And this is a very good one because you actually get to nail down what the problem is. And when you see candles forming in real time and there's actually money on the line and you had everything perfect and you didn't execute. So this isn't about strategy, this isn't about the analysis, and obviously this isn't analysis paralysis, because this isn't one of those situations where you're stuck in a loop where you're wondering, should I or shouldn't I? This is the one where the problem is action. So let's break that down.
So now we're going to talk about the part that is partly mechanical and partly mental, and that's the one where it stops you from pulling the trigger and executing the trade. It's the one that slowly creeps in where you're supposed to take your trade and your mind keeps sipping back in and thinking, what if I lose the funds? What if the trade doesn't play out? And this is the danger and self-imposed financial risk that you're supposed to take now. And I think this is very interesting because the discomfort that's being created mentally is the one that's reoccurring physically as well. That's why I said this is kind of partly mechanical. And the reason why it's partly mechanical is it's because it's something that runs deep inside of our background. And it's the same wiring that stops you from walking into traffic, right? So it is not designed to distinguish between actual danger and self-imposed financial risk on a defined loss trade. So first, why does this happen? Why is it that why can that same person sit in front of a live chart and consistently do the opposite of what they're planned? So what is that thing that forces the trader not to pull the trigger? What is that thing where a trader articulates everything to his buddies? They go back and forth, they back test that everything's fine, but when the moment comes, he just can't find himself to execute the trade. The reason being is the difference between planning and executing a trade. Because when you're planning a trade, what happens is your frontal cortex is doing its thing. You're relaxed, you're in a peaceful state of mind, and your heart rate is very low, and you get to do what you're supposed to do, versus when you're actually emotionally charged. And the reason why you're being emotionally charged is you're either over leveraged or you're overthinking. It's never anything more than that. It's one of those two. And the reason being why is it one of those two is because you're either worrying that you're going to lose so much money and it's going to hurt you that you're not executing something that you've back tested and you know that it's good. And if it's not that, then it's again a fear of losing money, which does tie to that. So and the reason why you're hesitant and the reason why you're not executing is because you let your emotional side take control. It's the same thing as if you were to walk into a traffic. Because if you were to walk into a traffic, your mind would enter a so-called survival mode, a survival state, because of the danger around you. And that is basically the same thing that happens to people who are scared of taking an action and executing, because they're either over leveraged to a point where they let the emotional side kick in and overtake the logical one that has elaborated everything and make sure that the strategy works. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. The discomfort is real and it will never go away. That's the distinction, and that's the thing that distinguishes pros from amateurs. Is that the pros have fully managed that permanent feeling of executing, because once you execute a trade, you know it's permanent. You can't take it back. And you know what? Pros feel it. And nothing changes that feeling of discomfort. More confidence doesn't help. More capital doesn't help. More experience doesn't help. But the combination of all three and understanding that you just have to execute is the thing that helps. It's like a lot of us go through situations in our life where we could feel emotional. There's things that we want to do, but we don't have the choice or the option not to do them. Nobody asks us, how do we feel? We just have to execute. We have to wake up. We have to get to the job. We have to get dressed. We have to do our thing. We have to come home and we have to take care of our things. It's the same thing with this. The hardest mental part of the trade is the execution. It's the permanence of pressing the button and not being able to go back. You just have to bite the bullet and do it. But guess what? That's why we do technical analysis. That's why we back test things. And that's why we have theories and strategies that work in place in order to be able to execute. But the best way to fight the fear, the best way to actually make things happen is, as I've said, for those who are fearing a lot and for those who are experiencing a lot of anxiety, the best way to go is paper trading. Get them Blowfin, create a demo account, and keep testing and keep working and keep testing and keep working on that execution methodology, because that's the thing that's going to help you just bite the bullet and go for it, because there's no other way. And once that really seeps into the back of your head and you understand how important it is, everything else is going to make more sense. And you're not going to just sit there, watch your perfect scenario play out in front of you without you doing anything. And besides paper trading, for those who are very good with paper trading or are doing well with paper trading, the best way to go with it is to do super small amounts in trades. Go with $10, go with $5, go with $50, go with whatever feels comfortable for you to go with through, so you don't feel that emotional charge as if you're about to walk into traffic. And then your brain is not going to kick into this survival mode thinking, oh, I'm going to get hit by a car and that's it. Right, so here I am in front of my computer where I'm looking at the thesis that I've worked on, and I've written down 5 failure modes that we're going to cover in a seriously detailed. I have worked and I've created the 5 failure modes so that everybody listening to this can resonate. Obviously, in the next one, we're going to go through a longer format serious series where we can actually discuss all 5 of them, the ones that I've written down. It's the hesitation, the cutting winners, holding losers, moving stops, and inconsistent sizing, so that everybody can find themselves within a category, because I'm pretty sure that everybody has completely different issues that they're dealing with and errors on failing with execution. So I'm super excited. This one is going to be the one where we're going to thoroughly, walk through all of them, and we're going to do the trader plan type of thing. And we're going to talk about personal triggers, what they are. We're going to write them down. We're going to see what the emotional reactions everybody has. They're pretty simple and they're pretty, I would say, consistent with all the traders. We just have to determine in which failure mode do we fall in. So so we can eliminate that threat and move on to consistent, amazing trading winners and just kick ass at trading.